The Nix ecosystem is truly massive, with everything from reproducible development shells to entire operating system configurations. It is easy to forget one thing. No matter how complex the projects around it seem, behind all this magic stands one little program that simply builds packages. So understanding how packages work in Nix is not just useful, but straight up fundamental to understanding the entire ecosystem built around it. And so in this video, we will learn everything you need to know about packages in Nix, starting with derivations. Because unlike most package managers, which more often than not just produce packages by running some code directly, Nix introduces a clear boundary between your code and the packages that eventually get built. That boundary is the derivation. Basically, a compiled build recipe of a package. It doesn't have any conditional logic, it just knows what it's building, how to build it, and exactly which other derivations it depends on. In true Nix fashion, it's like a pure function. Same inputs, same output, every single time. But why do we even need this middleman? Well, it's all because your Nix code does not work with a single derivation. It orchestrates dozens of them, derivations depending on other derivations, sometimes different, sometimes identical. And the job of Nix is to take your code, reduce it down to a tree of derivations, and then either build them into packages or reuse the packages that were already built previously. Only made possible thanks to the real hero of the story, the Nix store. Located at /nix/store on most machines, it is a directory where every single package built with Nix ends up. Here, every package lives within its very own isolated environment, with its very own directory, named after the derivation hash, the name, and usually the version too. And this is a very important piece of a puzzle, because this is exactly what allows Nix to reuse packages and dependencies. Take a look at these two lines of Nix code. They may look different to a human eye or to some simple parser, but if the derivations produced by the code are the same, their hashes will match, and Nix will know to simply reuse the package from the Nix store instead of building it again. Not only giving Nix that magical ability to spin up endless NixOS generations without wasting any extra space on duplicate packages, but also turning Nix into a hybrid beast. A source-based package manager that acts like a binary one. Because in practice, instead of building a package from a certain derivation right away, Nix will actually first go to the official cache, basically just a remote computer with its own Nix store, and ask it if it has already built a derivation with a certain hash. And if that is the case, simply download it from there, skipping the expensive compilation step on your end completely, which in turn gives Nix yet another superpower, the ability to override the packages. A package taken from Nix packages, for example, will always produce the same hash as the equivalent package on the cache server, but since you always have full access to the source code of every single derivation, you can always just modify any part of its build process, be it by editing the source code directly, or using the convenient override attributes feature, causing the derivation hash to change and forcing Nix to build it from source like any other derivation with a new hash, all without any extra work on your end. And fun fact, this also explains why if you try to run or build a broken package, Nix will try to compile it from scratch. It's all because the derivation failed to produce a package on the cache server, making Nix think it's some sort of custom or overridden package. But enough about the theory. How do we write our own derivations? The most primitive way is to use the built-in derivation function. It is very simple. It takes a single set argument containing the name of the package, the builder executable that Nix will use to build the package, the list of CLI arguments passed to this builder, and the intended system architecture. See for yourself, create a file with this content, and use the binsh builder to create a simple file with hello world. The out variable here is the path to the only place in the Nix store where we will have write permissions during the build process. It's that same place where the package will end up in the end. Then run the Nix build command, and Nix will evaluate the derivation, build the package, and create a symlink called result in your current directory, pointing to that package location in the Nix store. You can even run this command again and see that no matter how many times you build it, Nix won't really rebuild it until the code actually changes and starts producing a different derivation with a different hash. But the built-in derivation function is so primitive, you likely won't ever use it in practice. Because instead, Nix packages offers a bunch of general and specialized functions that extend the derivation function for specific use cases. Fun fact, the NixOS system and make shell functions are also just functions that simply build packages, so everything said in this video also applies to them. But the most general of them is the almighty stdenv.makeDerivation function. It behaves similarly to the built-in derivation function, but additionally Vimjoyer introduces a lot of convenient attributes to make our life easier, like src, the provided source code reference that we can use during the build process, build inputs, allowing us to define the runtime dependencies of your package, native build inputs for tools needed only during the build process, some different phases, like unpack phase, build phase, or install phase, allowing us to split our build logic into steps, and a lot more. In fact, this function is so general purpose, most other builder functions like build Rust package or build npm package simply extend it with language-specific features. To try it yourself, create a default.nix file once again, and call the stdenv.makeDerivation function with some kind of simple build process. The function comes from Nix packages though, so for now, let's also request a local Nix packages instance using the let and in syntax. Then use the nix build command to build the default.nix file, and once again get the result linked to our current directory. You could do the same thing to write a Rust package, a Node.js package, or even a package within a flake. It all comes with practice, you just have to explore how specific builders work. And there is no better way to learn something than trying it out yourself by following existing examples. Fortunately for us, Nix packages has more than 120,000 packages for you to explore, so just use this nix edit command to open a specific package source code in your default text editor. I've opened a Dust package here, and as you can see it uses the fetch from GitHub function to fetch the source code, and then uses the build Rust package function to compile it. A lot of stuff to learn from here, but one thing that may confuse you regardless of which package you open is this parameter set at the top. Segueing us to the final section of this video, customizing packages. Remember how I mentioned the override attributes earlier? This function is automatically added to almost every package created by Nix packages builders. Think of it as your backdoor into the build recipe. We can use it to swap out the source code, replace the build inputs, or even grab the original attributes to extend them instead of overriding them completely. Basically, if there is an attribute inside the builder set, override attributes can customize it. But what if we want to change the ingredients and not the logic? This is where this parameter set at the top comes into play. It basically lists all the external things needed to build the package, be it other functions, other packages, or even build flags, allowing us to override them through a similarly named override function. It is incredibly powerful because a package might use a specific dependency multiple times throughout the build process. So instead of hunting down every reference in the source code and manually patching the logic with override attributes, you can just use the override function to swap the ingredient once. Just like if you were changing a function argument. You are of course free to mix and match these two together, and I hope it's needless to say that overridden packages will usually need to be compiled on your end. You can also make your own packages overridable by simply requesting any Nix packages dependencies at the top, and then calling the call package function, passing it the path to your package file. This can be done in any other file, or straight up in a Nix build command like in the example on the screen. There is of course a lot more to packaging with Nix, and I couldn't possibly fit everything in one video, but if you want more examples, or to try out ones shown in this video, check out the vimjoyer.com website linked in the description. And now, I'd like to thank all the amazing people that support the channel and keep it going, for all the amazing monthly and recent donations, they really mean the world to me. And as always, don't forget to check out our Discord server, leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed this video, or subscribe if you are feeling extra generous. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.